It's the mastermind behind the mic. Give you what you like, never think about it twice. Coming with the real facts, and that's for real. Along with special guests, you know the deal. Label as the podcast, I stand on it. I'm all about my grind, cause my grind I be on it. That's what it's all about. When you're trying to be successful, you know what I'm saying? The solo show, yeah. Back in the building, y'all. Episode 39 of the Solo Show with yours truly, the mastermind behind the mic, the podcast Back at it again. Coming from Studio 808. I got a special guest in the building, but before I bring him on, I want to bring up the Black Pods Awards. Been out for a couple weeks, and I know people was wondering about the link for the voting. Well, the thing is, I didn't get selected for the voting, but my work was recognized. And I definitely want to thank Latrice Sampson Richards for reaching out to me about getting into the awards because she said she saw my work in a lot of mentions, and she loved the content and told me to keep doing what I'm doing. That someday in the future I may be a host of the awards. So that was dope. Definitely want to thank Demetrius Bagley also over at the awards for recognizing my work. That means a lot. Somebody's checking it out. A lot of people looking. So I really appreciate it. All right. If you hadn't already, go over to Live 365 and check out Jock Johnson Radio. It's available on Live 365, 24/7, 365 days of the calendar year. If you hadn't already, download the Live 365 app from your Play Store or wherever you download your apps from, and check it out. Just type in Jock Johnson Radio, and hey, you have access to the station. And of course, you'll have access to a lot of other stations on the platform, so check it out. All right, I got a special guest in the building. Ran across this brother a couple years ago, man, when I got in the podcasting game. Man, what more can I say about him? This brother's got a lot of credentials. He's the producer of the year, and he will always be my producer of the year because this guy is super dope. Just a dope brother from Detroit. Yeah, EBLOCKRADIO. Very own. My man, Q.Lewis is in the building, y'all. So we fixing to bring him on. Let's get him in. My man Q, what's up, brother?
What up, man? Yo.
Give him a round of applause, man.
Yo, I felt that love, bro. I appreciate that, dog, for sure. I've been in this thing for a while, man. You already know what it is, man. It's your boy Q.Lewis holding it down live from the 48205, man. Red Zone, baby. You know what it is.
That's what's up, man.
Detroit veteran. You already understand.
Yeah, that's right.
No doubt. Thanks for having me, bro.
Bro, man, it's good to have you on the show, man. I can remember back when I was doing the group show back in 21. We had you on the group show. I think it was May. I think it was like May 8th. I can remember the day, man. When we had you on.
I want to say, I think it was sometime in May. I was actually just talking about this before we got on because I remember we had the show and I was out in Louisville with my brothers, entertaining some whiskey, I was about to say distilleries. So I was pretty lit last time we did an interview, but no, we had some fun. So I think it was in May. We was out in Louisville at the time. I was on the back porch trying to do the interview, but it went smooth though. It went smooth. So shout out to the whole gang over there.
Yeah, man, because at that time we was doing audio.
Yeah, for sure.
Audio.
Yeah.
And man, we had a great time that night.
We did.
And man,
it was funny. I felt like I knew y'all already.
Yeah, I got to credit my cousin, man, for this this photo, man. He handles all my graphics. My man Victor Hayes, man, he did this one up, man.
Yeah, good looking. I appreciate it, man. Shout out to Vic.
Yeah, definitely, man. He hooked
No
that
doubt.
up, man.
For sure.
So let's talk about Q, man. Let's give everybody the rundown on
Um,
Q.Lewis, man, the history of Q.Lewis and how this podcast game got started
yeah.
with you, man.
Man, it's just it's a whole bunch of things, dog. Before I even get started or about like where I came from and how I got the idea,
Mhm.
I wanna give a shout out to my man Miles Dixon, who actually was the one who kind of introduced me to this internet radio kind of situation, right?
Mhm.
So I know at the beginning of my show, I always say the livest cloud radio show on the planet, right?
Yeah,
The cloud radio thing is a term that they came up with about 12 or 13 years ago because it wasn't a such thing as a podcast then.
right.
And they didn't want to keep calling it internet radio, so they called it cloud radio. And I kept rolling with that shit for like 12 years, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to my man Miles though. But like really legitimately, I told the story before, but like how it started, just me and a couple of buddies, man, was in the basement
Mhm.
back when I used to be somewhat athletic. We was working out and we was talking about starting a radio show.
Yeah,
So I looked on, tried to see how to do it. This was back in the day with Blog Talk Radio. That's how I started.
yeah,
I started doing 30 minutes in my mom's attic, you know what I'm saying, upstairs. It was supposed to have been like a group situation, but it turned out to be just me for about 30 days.
yeah,
I was doing one show a week, had my aunties and cousins calling in. So it was cool. But I was like, all right, I don't know how this, really go work. But then I missed a couple of days and people started saying, like, what happened? Like, why you ain't do the show? I'm like, damn, people really listening to this shit.
yeah,
So then that's how it kept going. And then my man's finally shout out to Monk Money. He finally was like, "Dog, I can't let
Mhm.
you do this by yourself." So he finally came on board, and then we started doing it from there. Now, at that point, we was just like, how y'all was doing before. We was just doing audio.
Mhm.
And then after that, I was like, let's add some video to it, see how this worked. So we was using Ustream, right? Like I don't even know if people familiar with Ustream. Like this before YouTube. Like it was crazy. There's some shit that don't even exist no more. But
Yeah,
yeah, we was doing live video then. And after that, it just turned into something that, people started looking for. So we
mhm.
kind of got excited about it and kept rolling with it. And then it turned into a
Yeah,
3 day a week show. You know what I'm saying? We started doing a morning show. We had to scale back though, since people's work schedules changed. But
yeah.
yeah, it's been fun, man. It's just been a fun ride all the way through. I have to admit now though that after we've been doing podcasts since I want to say like 2011. We're talking about like, 11, 12 years at this point.
Mhm.
I am kind of trying to phase to the producer side of it. Like I'm more excited about production than I am like being in front of the camera. So I'm kind of going into that direction, and then also producing other people's podcasts to try to, help them get through some stuff that they don't have to deal with, like the
Yeah,
pitfalls and stuff that I went through, So
yeah.
yeah, but that's where we at with it. And I just steadily moving forward. Trying to that's somebody sneaking in my house. So you can't even see him on camera. Though. We good. Uh, what up, though? You can close. Yeah, you can close it. All right. Yeah, but yeah, that's where we at with it now. And
Mhm.
again, of course, E-Block Radio. I gotta get a shout out to the whole neighborhood, dog. Angry Man, Monk Money, 2Gs, all the people that started out with me, dog. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to y'all. Love y'all to death for real.
Yeah. Now, how did that name come about? The
Well,
E
E
Block.
Block, like shit, that's just what we call our block. Like, really, the
Yeah.
street we grew up on was Ingleside. All of my friends that's included in this podcast, we all grew up together.
Right.
So yeah, that's what we call it, E Block. And then it was like, I guess we got to make it a radio show, so let's throw radio on there, and there you go.
Yeah.
That's what it was, E Block Radio.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
some hood shit. Yeah, I wish it was something more classy, but yeah, it's just
hey,
that, just
man,
hood shit.
you keeping it solid though, man.
That's it.
That's what's up, man. Wake and Bake Show.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the that's the flagship show. That's my man, Angry Man, my man Monk Money right there.
Yeah.
Funny thing that he got that big ass joint. That's when we was in Colorado. Actually, we was smoking a bunch of weed. But yeah, so the Wake and Bake show really started again. It was the flagship show. So originally it was just E Block Radio. Like that was the name of the show.
Mhm.
But then I started doing other shows and I had to, make it different. So like this one had to have a different name. So like we on in the morning and always smoking weed. So we was like,
Yeah,
let's just
yeah, I
call it
know.
Wake and Bake Show. Yeah. Said
Yeah,
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 we be mad waking and baking. So matter of fact, shout out to them. Of course, we be on Mondays at 10:15 AM, somewhat promptly on eblockradio.com.
yeah.
Yeah, it's somewhat promptly. Depends on if we hire or not.
I get a kick out of those guys, man. Monk Money and
And
Angry Man.
Angry Man,
Angry
yeah,
Man, yeah.
it's
Yeah,
just good chemistry because like it's no different than basically somebody putting a microphone and a camera on us standing in the driveway because like
yeah,
we've been having these conversations our whole life. So now
yeah,
all we doing is sharing it with y'all basically.
yeah.
Yeah, for
Man,
sure.
I definitely enjoy the show, man, because there was some times when I was off the 9 to 5, I would, you know, punch in
Tap
and
in.
check you guys out. And man, I have had at the house that I was living in then, I
Yeah.
had the speakers in the fucking ceiling. So
Oh, so they
uh
play it all over
yeah,
there.
so I was Bluetooth, yeah. So I'd be all over the house, man, and
Yeah,
listening to y'all laughing my ass off, man. That shit,
man. Talking crazy, right?
yeah, shit was dope, man.
For
But
sure. Thank you. I appreciate that.
But when somebody's, man, rocking on the mic, man,
Oh
with a gold
yeah, yeah. Yeah. I do gotta go, Mike, though, for sure.
yeah.
Oh, you know what? You know where I got that from though? I honestly got that from Dish what is it? Uh what's the name of the joint? Uh the one with all the radio DJs on it. They used to go from place to place. Dish Network, Dish not Dish Network,
It's
Dish
not that,
Nation.
yeah,
Dish
not that,
Nation,
yeah.
yeah.
I
So
remember that shit.
what's called had one, Ricky Smiley
Mhm.
on their show, he had a gold mic, and I was like, shit, I want a gold mic.
Yeah.
So I would have got a gold mic. Shit, that's how we rolling with that. Every now and then I let my nephew use a gold mic on his show, you know, but that's about it. Otherwise, I'm the only one that use
Yeah.
that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then he's chilling with his fronts on.
Hey, so look, what you got to understand about that shot right there is that this is a still shot from a Tubi movie that I'm in.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
So
gotta that's a different one. So that'll be my second one once it actually come out.
man, that Tubi movie, since you brought that up too, because I was gonna
Might as
eventually
well
bring it
talk
up down
about
the
it.
line. Yeah, might as well
Yeah.
talk about it, man. How did that come into play?
So again, back to my block, man. Shout out to my man Coke Horner.
Mhm.
Is his name. He's been doing movies for a little while. When I say a little while, I mean a long ass time. So him and my homeboy Tragan, right? So both of them do movies. And we was out on the block one day and we was just cracking jokes about, you know, the movies they making. And they
Mhm.
was like, you want to be in one? I'm like, shit, yeah. I was like, what, like, can I just be an extra? Like, I don't want no scenes because like it's too much work for real to be an actor. So he's like, dog, we're gonna slide you in a couple of scenes, like just pull up. I'm like, all right, I'm thinking they just talking junk. So then one day my man's was like, you gonna be straight for tomorrow? Like straight for tomorrow for what? He's like to get in this movie. Like, shit, okay. I pull it up, bro, and they told me to like have some idle conversation with the chick next to me, throw a couple of dollars and shit, make it look like we really at a strip club. And
Right, right.
that was my scene. But I'm gonna tell you why I want to salute all actors that's doing this acting shit because I was just an extra, bro. Like I was in the background, no speaking roles or nothing. But you talking about scenes that they shooting 20 or 30 times because like they
Mhm.
got to get all these different angles. You got to do everything exactly the same so it look right in the movie. So
Right.
you figure I got like 30 seconds in the movie, like throwing some money, having a little bullshit conversation on the side. And we shot that like for real 15 times. Like, cause they got to do all these angles. So I'm knowing people out here with real roles and like speaking roles and shit. They in there all day. See, that ain't for me. That ain't for me. I'm gonna get my
Yeah.
little extras in here and let me go to the crib.
Yeah, yeah.
For sure,
Get up out of the joint.
no doubt, because that's just too much work. Like that ain't my lane. I say that for the Tubi stars.
Yeah. Man, you know, I was just looking at some of your credentials, man. You've done quite a bit and you've doing a lot. I know
Did a
you
couple
more.
things.
Yeah, and you know, especially with the producing side too, man.
Yeah,
Man, you are in my book the producer of the year, man, because you know
I appreciate that.
you put in the work, bro. You put
No
in the
doubt.
work. You moving. You always moving. I see that
Always,
shit all the time. You moving, man.
always.
And the only way you gonna get to where you really want to get to is to keep moving like you moving.
That's for
And
sure.
uh,
Another thing you got to do too, man, just like not just for me, but for people out there podcasting, producing all that stuff. Like you
mhm,
really gotta, just like how we doing now, you
mhm,
really gotta manifest. Excuse me, manage those relationships that
mhm,
you have, like, because
mhm,
that's really important. Like this podcast community seems like it's large because you feel like everybody doing a podcast, but
mhm,
really it's kind of a small community once you get to, you know, knowing everybody. You
mhm.
really got to start using those connections and that network so that we can lean on each other because like none of us are iHeartRadio or Spotify
Right.
distributed like that. So like we have to lean on our own networks, and I think that that's the most important thing. Like just like the Afros and Audio Podcast Festival coming up, things like that, where you can really network with these people on the ground roots,
Right.
and really get the ball rolling and have some real motivation. Like not just the shit you see on YouTube or on the celebrity news, but like people who really doing what you doing. So I think that's important too. So that I owe places like Afros and Audio. Like I say, shout out to Talib, man, and I think you had mentioned what's called it earlier. Oh fuck, too much tequila. That's my baby. You just mentioned her name earlier. What you call it? God, they want to tell you
Yeah,
about
no, you did. Yeah,
no
about the
the one.
movie, right? Was it
No,
about
no,
the
no. I'm talking about you was talking about the Black Pod Awards.
yeah, the black Latrice.
Latrice, thank you, dog. That's my baby. I forgot. I
Yeah,
couldn't think of her name real quick. It was the
yeah,
tequila, dog, for real.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Charges to my head, man, not my heart. But yeah, so shout out to all of them doing their thing, dog, for real.
yeah.
Really, like, really gravitated towards me when I went out there the first time. I think the first time it was in Brooklyn for the very first one. And I tell this story a lot too. I'm gonna tell it again real quick. But shout out to Talib, though. I remember I went out there. I had won a ticket to go out there to the festival. So I got there, and when I get to the check-in, dude, like, I don't see your name or whatever. I'm like, well, I done came from Detroit, like on
Right.
this plane. I
Yeah,
don't have no ticket, but bro, like I should be on there. And I remember Talib came to the door and was like, "Oh, Q, like you made it, right?" Now, mind you, I've never had a personal conversation with Talib. Like, so for him to come to the door and recognize me and see me and welcome me in like that, I was like, dog, these my people.
yeah,
And we've been down ever since.
yeah. They
For
they
sure.
they they definitely recognize that work, man, of
Yeah, for sure.
what you doing, bro. I mean, you all over. You international. You all over the
A
place,
little. I'm
man.
trying to be international.
Yeah,
And look,
you all,
real. I'm trying to break into the what's called too, though. Low key, trying to break into the corporate side of things. So I'm working on a
yeah,
corporate podcast right now. So that's in
yeah,
the works. I keep you all abreast on that once everything is finalized.
yeah, man. That would definitely be awesome, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But bro, you deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve
I
it,
try to
man.
make myself think I do.
You deserve it, bro. I'm not
Yeah.
lying. Shit. So, like these events, man. You've been to quite a few of them. You've
Hmm.
been to quite a few events,
Yeah.
and that's the thing with me. That's something that I want to do is be able to go out and be able to network with people, new
Yeah.
podcasters, and all, and get to learn a lot more.
For sure.
And meet these people.
Hmm.
Uh,
Because they willing to
you
give up the information. You just gotta,
you,
you gotta meet them somewhere.
you got to meet them, man. You got to be there.
Hmm. Yeah.
Uh, so how long has it been? I mean, when was your first event? Your first time going to one of those events, man? Can you remember that?
Low-key, that was the first one. The
That
Afros and
one. That
Audio
one.
Podcast Festival, the one, the original one, I think it was 2018. That was the
Mhm,
first time I had ever been to any type of podcast event. And
mhm,
again, it's just something I happened to run across the IG post, and it was like it was talking about the festival. It was like if you, I think you had to like create like a 15-second video or something explaining like why you wanted to come instead of the third, and like
mhm,
they was giving away tickets.
mhm.
So it turned out to be me and another girl finalists for the tickets or whatever. So we both got tickets. And that was the first one. That was my very first experience with a podcast conference. And then after that, of course, the second, third, and fourth year, I end up going as a speaker. So I was actually able to contribute, to the conference as opposed to just, going to take the
Yeah.
information. I was able to give some too.
Now, was it this one?
Now that's
At
another one.
Podstock. That's a yeah. I'll fix to bring this one up too.
Yeah.
About the Podstock conference, man.
Yeah,
Because you was a speaker there. So
for
tell
sure.
me a little bit about that one.
Now, dog, the pod stock joint was dope because for this reason, Will Foskey, which was on that post you just showed, Will Foskey was the president of Podstock. I met Will at the podcast movement conference maybe about 6 or 7 months before the Podstock.
Mhm,
Now, podcast movement is like this big, huge conference with I ain't gonna lie, it's mostly white people, right?
mhm,
Right. So we was there, and it's crazy how I met Will. We at the iHeartRadio after party, right? It's like the little end of the weekend event. I see Will with a camera and he taking pictures, like, on the dance floor. And honestly, I was just curious what camera and what lens he was using, because I do a little picture and video taking on the side. So we struck up a conversation about that. So he giving me game about the pictures and videos and stuff like that. And like, we kept in touch. And then, like, maybe almost a year later, he was like, "Hey, I'm at this place, this pod stock joint, and this is our first conference." And he was like, "Dog, I thought about you. Can you come out to Jersey and speak on this panel?" What the hell? Yeah, right. But then that's what I'm thinking of. Like, just that would have never happened without being at the podcast movement joint and having that conversation, where
Right.
the conversation that we didn't even talk about podcasting. We was talking about pictures and lenses and shit.
Yeah.
But like, I just built a relationship with Dog. He felt comfortable. Like, "Dog, I need you at this joint." So I went out to Jersey and did that. So that was dope. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's how it happened. So again, I'm real big on that building relationships thing, because it take you to places that you can't really get to without those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for
Man,
sure.
man, that shit, man, you man, you running into a lot of good people, man, and man, you out there, bro.
Kind of
That's
just
what.
being at the right place at the right time. Kind of.
Yeah,
I don't want to call it luck, but sometimes it's just being in the right place, right time.
yeah, man. That's what's up, bro.
For sure.
And we're gonna take a quick 30-second break, and we're gonna come back with more Q.Lewis
All
right
right,
here
for
from
sure.
Studio 808. Y'all stay tuned. Back with more of the Jock Johnson Podcast solo show. All right, we are back with more
Got
of the
the
solo
intro and the
show.
outro. Look at you, dog.
Studio 808, my man Q.Lewis in the building, y'all.
For sure. What up? What up? You know what it is, man. We live in Studio 808, man. Representing Detroit, though. Detroit veteran in the building. You know what it is.
No doubt, man. Look,
Wait, before we go further,
go ahead.
shout out to Studio 808, though. That's all I
Hey,
gotta
man.
say. That's
Hey,
all the
man,
fuck I gotta
appreciate
say, dog.
I
Do
appreciate it.
your
I give
thing, bro.
myself
I'm
a
proud
round
of you, my
applause.
dog.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you, dog. When you showed me that joint, I'm like, oh, dog, serious. It's real out here.
Yeah, man.
I'm still sitting in my living room.
Your choice. It's
Yeah,
your
my
choice. Your
choice. You're
choice. Your
right.
choice.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm
Look,
working on
man,
it, though. I'm gonna
I,
try to put me a little
I,
studio
I
situation
watch,
together.
I watch and learn from the best, man. I watch you, man.
Oh,
And
don't
I
say that,
watch
man.
you. I watch you, bro.
Yeah,
You you
I try to
you
do my thing.
you inspire me, man. You really do. You and along with a couple others, man, that really
Yeah,
inspire me to continue to do what I'm doing, because I love to do it. It's the passion for it.
for sure.
Uh, but
Shout
I
out to my
love what
man
you're
Hype.
doing.
I know he one of them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I'm gonna get to him in a minute too.
for sure. That's my guy.
I'm definitely gonna get to him in a minute. Uh, you got your hands on a number of things. And let's talk about this one, man. The
Mhm.
Beards Bourbon and Whiskey Podcast, man. Let's
Yeah,
let's talk about
man.
that one a little bit, man.
Yeah, man. So first of all, let me just say this. I was before this podcast, I was a cognac drinker, right? So shout out to my bro, angry principal. He's always been a bourbon whiskey drinker. And I remember he was trying to get me to drink whiskeys. And I think the first one I had was like Knob Creek. And when you drinking Hennessy and other cognacs, like Knob Creek is, it's rough. And I was like, "Dawg, I don't know
Mhm.
if I can deal with that." But then he started introducing me to some different ones, like a few lower proof ones, and kind of eased me into the fact that I left cognac alone. So now all I drink is bourbons and whiskeys. So we just sitting around drinking one day, and I was like, "Dog, maybe we should just have a podcast talking about bourbons and whiskeys, right?" So then we did it, and that's really how it transitioned to now. And shout out to the whole gang, dog. Shout out to Angry Principal. Shout out to my man Bo.
Yeah.
Both of them are really they really yeah, that's a good one right there. Both of them are really the whiskey and bourbon connoisseurs. Like, I just kind of add the color commentary, but like, they the ones who really know this shit. So
Mhm.
shout out to them, dog, for holding me down. Shout out to Angry Principal for changing our format, because at the beginning we was on for like an hour and a half just talking about anything and
Yeah.
reviewing the whiskey in between. And that's when he was like, dog, we should do one like show where we just talk shit, but then the other one should be like 10 to 15-minute actual reviews, just get them in and get them out. So he changed the format, and
Yeah.
that's been, that took us to another level. So shout out to them, putting me on, and also shout out to whoever put this list together. But we in the top 10 for whiskey podcast though
Shit, man.
right
Shit,
now. Should we
round of
yeah,
applause for that
for
shit,
sure.
man.
Yeah, so we number 6 in the country right now for a whiskey podcast. So yeah, should I salute to the whole gang, dog. That's for sure. And of course it's fun to get drunk on camera.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. Let's just call it what it is. Shit, I'm doing it right now.
Look, now you went to an event about a day or so ago. Well, about a week ago. Tell me about the Taste of Black
Yes,
Spirits, man.
yes. First, again, every time we bring up an event, I gotta get the people. Shout out to my man Diddy, Deshaun. I guess we could call him by his real name. Shout out to my man Diddy. Shout out to Lazar. Those are the two that put on the Black Spirits events. So it's two a year. They actually did the one earlier this year out in Brooklyn. In February, they going to Miami. So what it is basically curation of Black spirits owners. So they throw these events, all these Black people who own distilleries and liquors, they come together to like an expo, basically, a chance for people to find out about Black spirits that they didn't know about. And of course, we had the BBW podcast, the Beards Bourbon Whiskey Podcast. So they reached out to us to say, like, y'all want to check in on us and see how this work or whatever. Like, y'all got the whiskey joint. We
Right.
can put y'all on to some Black spirits. Y'all can review them, that kind of thing. So that's how that relationship started. And the crazy thing though about Diddy, Diddy is from HP. Highland Park was right in the center of Detroit. But he does artist management, right? So he was a manager for this artist who was actually on the Shy versus Everybody podcast. Shout out to nephew.
Right.
He brought him on there, and we doing the podcast, and he's seen all the liquor bottles behind, like all the whiskey bottles, and he started asking me like, "Dog, what's all these whiskey bottles or whatever?" And then that's when I told him about the podcast, and that's how we got that bug started. So really, it wasn't even about me at first. That was about nephew. That was his thing. So then
Right.
he told my mans, his mans that do the curating for the Black Spirits events. He told them about me. We brought them on to talk about, I think it was Uncle Nearest at the time. And then we just started building that relationship. We've been on ever since. So yeah, shout out to them. They invite me out to every event. They trying to get me to come down to Miami. I don't know if I can afford that though. I ain't on payroll yet, but I don't know about that one. But it'd be dope to make it down to Miami though, for
Yeah,
sure.
it would, man. It
Yeah,
definitely would, man.
for sure. Yeah. So shout out to them, dog, Lazar and my man's Diddy, dog, Black Spirits events for sure.
All right. Now, this other event, this past
Oh,
Friday.
you
Yeah,
just went through all that shit up.
this past Friday. Yeah, man, because
This is
you
last
did some
night.
shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so last night, first of all, let me again shout out to my man Miles. That's who I was talking about earlier, who pretty much put me in the game. He put on this event, dog, and I'm talking about it was classic. I don't think it could have turned out no better. So the Podskers is basically uh award shows for podcasters and streaming movie streamers, right?
Mhm.
So put those together. We got a bunch of, because Detroit is doing real well on the movie scene, for real. So celebrating a lot of artists on that end of the spectrum, and then also a lot of podcasters. Now the E-Block Radio Network was nominated for Best Podcast Network. We got the nomination, but unfortunately we didn't go. We didn't bring home the win. But it's
But
all good though.
it's
I
all good, man.
for sure. I just love the acknowledgement of even being nominated, because that, again, I think you mentioned this earlier. It's just about somebody checking for you. Like if you got
Mhm.
nominated, and it's one of those things where we got nominated and I didn't nominate myself, so that means somebody listening. So I'm cool
Yeah.
with that. And when I tell you, like, this event was more than I could have ever imagined. So again, shout out to my man Miles. Shout out to the whole team. Shout out to Gigi and Maria,
Mhm.
who definitely was part of the team, who basically put all this stuff together. And everybody that kicked in, dog, appreciate y'all to the fullest. The next year gonna be even doper. I'm gonna work even harder so we get nominated for most
Right.
shit, and don't have a chance to fucking lose. All right. So I'm gonna tell you that shit right now. I started working last night when we didn't win. Last night I started doing new shit because we ain't doing this shit no more. I don't like the way it feels.
What the date is? The date is the 7th, October 7th now.
Yeah, we on here. I said
7th,
that shit. I said that shit.
2023.
Yes, we ain't losing again, dog. I don't like that feeling, bro. I ain't gonna hold you.
That's what's up.
Salute to Event Radio who actually ended up winning. Salute to everybody who won, though. Everybody who got nominated. It was a beautiful event. A lot of beautiful Black energy in the building. Like, it's just one of those things. Like, I mean, I hate to say it, but a lot of times with awards and stuff, like it's usually some fallout behind it. Like, you know, somebody get nominated, somebody angry, somebody hating, but it wasn't none of that. So it's just beautiful Black people energy, dog. Shit, shout out to my mans, man, for sure.
That's the way it should be anyway.
That's the way it should be, but you know, it don't always be like that.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Let's talk about your nephew, man. Shaw.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Let's talk about him a little bit, man, because I got to give him his props, man. He's got a great thing going, and you are the producer.
Yes,
of the show.
That's my guy.
My man is good. He has his fun, man. He does his thing, bro, and I love that. I love that.
For sure. Now the thing about Shad is that when I was in Colorado, that was back in 2016. I was working at this studio. It's basically like a public access kind of radio thing. So it's like an internship. So I was learning how to work the boards and shit like that. And what happened was people would send in music, like they trying to get played. It's public access, but like you can still get your music on.
Right.
Like they started sending me music and stuff, and then like I just had an idea, like, you know what? Like, why don't I take these people music? I let nephew review it. Like, then he can have a podcast. So, like, literally, we started, what was it called? Real Rap Radio, dog. This was back in 2016. I had him, I would send him the music. He would do like a quick 30-minute review of like all these songs or whatever. And that was it. And he would be falling off like, oh, I don't want to do it this week, this, that, and the third. But I knew he had something in him. So this is 2016. So he fell off probably right around 2017, gave that shit up. I'm still in his head like, dog, you need to do a podcast. You need to do a podcast. Like, you know, when you recognize somebody with talent, like, dog, just go do the shit. So it took it all the way to fucking, when did he start? 2020, I guess it was that we started. Like, really what was happening, he had a crew with him that they was gonna do a podcast. But like they kept falling off, and then he's seeing where my frustration was coming from. Like now he want to do it, and then he see his people ain't helping him out. Now he see my frustration. I'm trying to get him to do it, and he don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So then he ended up he had about maybe four of his partners that he knew. He set them up 4 in a row for interview style podcast. And really, I mean, and he said this before, really he's a rapper, right? So he was rapping. And his idea was that he was gonna do this podcast to promote his music. But then just so happened he started doing a podcast and he liked the shit more than rapping. So like now he just really devote that passion to that. So shout out to nephew, dog, doing this thing, hella consistent, bro. We on like episode 174 at this point. So shout out to him, dog. And he one of the ones we've been talking about, the business side of things, right? So I'm producing his podcast now, but I'm telling him like he's in a position now where he can do other people's podcasts. So now he could have his own network. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I can help him out with that. Like, see, I didn't have nobody to do that for me. You know what I'm saying? It was like we was all plug and play. Like you got to figure it out, right?
Right.
So like with him, I can set him up to where he can have his own network of people. Like he can have, people got they shows on the Shy versus Everybody podcast network. Like that's his thing. He can do it. So that's what we kind of working on now. And that's where I'm at with things now. Just like I want to be able to build a product and like just dish and drive. Like I want to be back here. I want to play point. I ain't got to be in front of the camera. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm cool with that. Like I want to press buttons and make shit look good on the on the video side, do the audio engineering. Like I like that stuff now. So yeah. Shout out to nephew though. Definitely doing this thing.
I definitely had to bring him up, man, because I love what he's doing, man.
Yeah, we like Suge and Pac and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We like
Suge and Knight of this shit.
Hell yeah, Suge and Knight of this shit.
I remember you saying that shit.
Yeah, it's Death Row in this bitch, man. I told him.
Yeah, man. Look, I know you're an author also.
For sure.
Uh, the book, the
Mhm.
book, like Morris Day say, the book, the book.
Yeah, the book.
Those brilliant bastards.
Yeah. So those
Give us a
brilliant
rundown on
bastards.
that.
Yeah, it's my first novel, so I'm excited about that. That book was just about mass incarceration and how it's really affecting, our neighborhoods, our community. And
Mhm.
again, whenever I talk about shit, I gotta give a shout out to somebody because I'm often motivated by certain people or certain situations. So in that thing, I want to give a shout out to shit. Let me see. Let's do God. All of this tequila is killing me, bro. Look, my cousin over here talking about shout out to her. Well, first of all, let me say this though. First of all, my original shout out for sure is for my auntie, which is my cousin mom's. Shout out to Miss Gwendolyn Parker Lewis, Lewis Parker, however we want to say it. My auntie Gwen. But no, so she was like the first author that I knew personally. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And when I'm talking about she created books and she created words like seamlessly. Like her daughter got a little bit. She over there looking at me like she got a little bit, but she ain't like her mama, dog. But like that inspiration though just gave me the idea that I could write a book. Like because
Mhm.
like you come up in a time where that wasn't a thing. Like you go play football, you gonna be a rapper, you gonna
Mhm.
sell drugs. You know, what nobody telling you could write a book. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So
yeah.
like that, that was that. But like what the inspiration on this book though was Shaka Senior. I don't know if you're familiar with Shaka. Shaka is he wrote Righting My Wrongs. He a Oprah best, Oprah book club joint, but he from the city of Detroit.
Mhm.
Right. So Shaka and also Yusef Shakur, both of them are dudes from Detroit, and they wrote about their experiences in prison. And they both are doing like tremendous reform work at this point. So I'm reading their books. I had a chance to meet both of them, and it was through those conversations and reading those books made me write this book because I'm
Yeah.
like, I think it's something that we kind of it's so. Oh yeah, I know. Good looking out there. I got my book for sure. It's something that's like so woven into our community. Like it's almost like a badge of honor to go to jail.
Mhm.
Like it's like if you ain't do no jail time, it's like you ain't got no street cred. So I just wanted to write this novel to talk about that idea of kind of breaking the cycle. And
Mhm.
so I wanted to write it in a novel so people could understand that I know these facts and I know people who live this life. It just ain't mine. Like
Mhm.
I chose a different route. So I wanted to write it. I kind of wanted to write it like in a way that anybody could understand it. Cause like I don't know if you ever read any Michael Eric Dyson books, but Michael Eric Dyson, I love his books. Like I love the things he talk about, but he talk over your head though. Like he use a lot of jargon, a lot of language that like everybody don't understand. Like you literally got to Google some of the shit he's saying like to understand.
Damn.
So I'm cool with that, but then at the same time, I feel like you might leave a few people who didn't get your message because you're talking over their head. So I wanted to make it kind of break it down in layman's terms, tell a
Mhm.
story, and kind of get you in that way, and then make you realize, like, damn, we,
Mhm.
we really got a problem out here.
Mhm.
I know my old man, I know my uncle, I know my cousins, they all went to jail, but I ain't got to go that route.
Right.
Just a
Right.
story to get people motivated in that area. So that's how that book came about. So again, shout out to Shaka Senior and Yusef Shakur, two dudes from Detroit who really wrote about that prison experience and really working on some real reform at this point. So shout out to them, dog. Shout out to the city of Detroit, for sure.
No doubt. No
Yeah.
doubt. Now, flip side.
Yep.
It- Let's talk about flip side, man, a little bit.
So that came about just because I wanted to do these books.
Mhm.
So I created the publishing company so that I could self-publish, but be able to self-publish to an actual business. Because
Mhm.
like it's a difference. Like if you want to just come out, you want to self-publish through Amazon or something, and then you just put your name on it. That's cool. Like it's no slight against that. But I wanted to have some business behind it. So it's
Mhm.
two things that happen there, though, right? Because now that it's a publishing company, so that means I can actually get publishing for my books and all of my intellectual property. So I
Mhm.
mean, all of the E Block Radio stuff is published by Flipside 8. So like all of this shit is business. I figured that
Yeah.
shit out. You feel me? So like, all
Yeah.
this shit is business. So
Yeah.
all of it is really tied to Flipside Inc., which is basically a multimedia publishing company. So that's video, audio, and of course, the books. So yeah, that's how that came about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man.
for sure.
Hey man, you own it, bro.
Now
own
that you
it.
got me saying this shit out loud, I do got a couple things going on. It sound like, right?
Yeah, you own it. You own it, man. And man, the merchandise, man. I got
Part of my east side. Yeah.
now the hat. Now my hat, I think it's upstairs in the attic. When I moved, I still got a lot of hats packed away.
Sure.
Oh, but I do have this though. I am representing this shit, man.
No
You know
doubt.
what I'm saying? You know
And I
what I'm saying?
appreciate it, for sure.
I'm representing.
I gotta bring my merch back out, though. We've been selling the BBW merch. I gotta get back to the part of my east side now, though.
Yeah,
For sure. I appreciate that support, though, for sure.
definitely, man. I always, since I got to know you, man, I've always been supportive because I love what you're doing. And I
No
got a
doubt.
supportive brother, man.
For
And
sure.
by the way, I got some more that will be available in the near future, but I am sending you one of my hats.
Oh,
So
for sure.
definitely
Alright.
send you one of my hats. So
Yeah. All right, I got you. I'm gonna rock that boy too. I don't wear nothing but hats, bro.
but I'm gonna
That's
get
why I
the
ain't got no hairline now.
I gotta get the full covered ones now because it's fixing to get cold. So I'm
Yeah.
fixing to get some of those done. So
Oh, okay.
be on the
See,
lookout.
I rock those now. I had one on
Yeah.
last night.
Yeah.
The trucker joints with you get the
Yeah.
breeze through that joint. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit, I need the breeze all year round though. I'm a big nigga, man. I need air. I'm talking about I was at the award show last night sweating so hard though. I think they thought I stole something.
Hey, man, I saw the photo, man. I
Yeah,
saw the photo, yeah.
shout out to all the people that was standing next to me with their arm around me, knowing my back was wet as fuck. Shout out to them, dog. Y'all surreal was back wet as hell. Like y'all shout out to y'all.
Hey, what a pinky at, man? What a pinky. What a
Oh,
pinky.
I ain't even got it on.
Yeah,
You see how I ain't put my hand in the camera because I ain't even got it on. See, that's my right hand. It's usually on my left. So
that pinky, man.
yeah, it be out there.
Yeah.
I ain't got it on. And see, that's why I ain't even put it in the camera. That's my signature right there. Yeah.
Bro.
Gotta love it though.
Hey, man, it's been great, bro. It's
For
been
sure.
great. Hey, man, give everybody the rundown of where they can find Q.Lewis, man, in E-Block Radio.
Man, look, you can find me everywhere for real. But you know what? Let me give a shout out to everybody, dog. Shout out to my whole team over at Podcastic. You can check me out over there on Tuesday nights on the Girth podcast. That's a men's podcast. Monday mornings, 10:15 a.m. for the E-Block Radio Wake and Bake Show. That's on eblockradio.com. Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern. Oh no, I'm sorry, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Beards Bourbon Whiskey Podcast, dog. Shout out to the whole gang. And that's it, dog. Just follow me on IG at Q.Lewis313. And hit us up on the YouTube joint, E-Block Radio Podcast Network. I'm everywhere, dog. I'm trying to. This is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do it so whenever you talk about podcasts in the city of Detroit, you can't think about shit but Q.Lewis. That's what I'm
talking about. That's what I'm talking about, bro.
For sure.
Hey, bro. I appreciate you coming on, man. Appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate the invite, dog. Keep doing your thing, man. Shout out to Studio 808, dog.
Hey.
I'm glad I'm able to be a part of this joint for real.
Hey, I appreciate you, man.
No doubt.
All right, man. Catch you on the next one.
You already know, man. Catch you on the flip side. You know what it is.
48205, baby.
Dog, live from the 48205, man. Red Zone, baby. We out of here.
All right, bro.
Peace out.
All right, y'all. My man Q.Lewis from the 48205. About to take a quick 30-second break, and we're going to come back and wrap this thing up from Studio 808. Stay tuned. Back with more of the Jock Johnson Podcast solo show. All right, y'all, we are back. with more of the solo show. About ready to wrap this thing up. Man, we had a great convo. My man Q.Lewis was in the building. Definitely want to give him a big shout out once again for coming by and chopping it up with me. Great episode, great show. Uh, Brother is so talented. So for any of you guys out there that's uh, interested in listening to podcasting, hey, check out EBLOCKRADIO. They're available on IG. So check him out. Man, what more can I say about it? It's my brother. My brother. Uh, Definitely want to give a shout out, and I was intending to do it before we got out of here. Uh, my man Hank, How to Hustle Podcast, Philly, PA. Y'all check him out. Check out his shows. They're available wherever you stream your podcast. Check him out. My nephew, I call him. This brother's dope. I actually had the pleasure of introducing Q and Hank about a year or so ago. I think it's over a year ago now. But those guys connected. They're doing great things. And those are the people that you want to be around. People that's hustling, trying to do it and doing it. Because Q is doing it, Hype is doing it, multiple little businesses, and Q is also doing his thing, producing and all. And those are the people you want to be around. So salute to you both, man. Salute to you. All right. For any guests that want to be a part of the Jock Johnson podcast, the solo show, have any questions or comments, hit me up on IG at The Real Jock Johnson. Also, check me out here on my YouTube channel, the Jock Johnson Podcast LLC. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Also, check me out every Tuesday starting at midnight, again at 9 a.m., and then again at 9 p.m. Eastern on 216 The Blend Live 365 Radio, Cleveland, Ohio. Also, you can check out my station on Live 365, Jock Johnson Radio, available 24/7, 365 days of the calendar year. Also, check me out on Dilla TV. Podcast is available on Dilla TV, so check it out. You can check me out also on my Twitter page, Jock Johnson Podcast LLC. Also, you can check me out on TikTok, Jock Johnson Podcast. And also, you can hit me up on my email at jockjpodcast@gmail.com. All right, that's about going to wrap it up for yours truly, the mastermind behind the mic, the podcast. Always remember, do what you love what you do, y'all. I'm out.